Hi, Eric Gimbal, ericgimbal.com, and today I'm going to present you my 5 tips for January 2017. Use this video to wish you a Happy New Year 2017, and we start right now. First of all, don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel, youtube.com/ericgimbal. You can visit my website, ericgimbal.com, and if you have any question, you can send me an email to info@ericgimbal.com. Thank you to Claudia for being behind the camera. So we start with tip number 1. Very often when we do a portrait, we do not take into account the height of the photographer or the camera, depending on the physical look of the person being in the portrait. So very often we are too low or too high. So you see the picture and the person is not looks fatter or thinner, or just does not look right. So it's very important that when you make a portrait, you make sure you try different heights, and this way you will make sure the portrait is better for the person. Because very often we see portraits and they are so low that someone like me, who is a bit, well, you can say it, I'm a bit fat here and everywhere, but we're speaking about here. If you take a picture from really upwards, then I look a lot fatter. If you took from the top, it's a bit better. If you take it at eye level or chest level, I mean, something you have to check, okay? Tip number 2. This is something I spoke about last year in one tip, I can't remember which one. And I still see, even people who follow me, I see the picture sometime, and they still have problem using wide-angle lenses when making portraits. Take into account that the portrait is something you try to do to look like the reality, the way the person really looks, except if you want to do some caricatural picture. But normally you will try to look as closer as possible to the reality. So if you use wide angle, then the person will look larger. So if that person is already a bit thick, then his body will look thicker. Okay, so it's important that do not use wide-angle lenses if the person is not that in good shape. Like me, for example. Like me, not that I am in good shape, that I'm a bit fat. Okay, so and then anyway, very often they tell me, no, but I didn't have space enough to go back and get the person from further away. Well, if you don't have enough space, enough room for moving back, then what you have to do is another picture or move to another place. Because if it's just a souvenir picture when you're on holiday or birthday, it doesn't really matter. But if you're trying to do a good portrait and you don't have space enough, then you should move to somewhere else, because otherwise this portrait is useless. The person won't feel really nice about it, or he will be happy because he remembers the moment but not the way he looks. So other people will look at the picture and will think, well, this guy is really fat, okay? Because you are using a wide angle. In case you decide to use a wide angle because you want to use it to give like more power to the picture, then the only way to get more power to this picture is to go down as much as you can. It's always better to have a picture that goes like this, that is like pyramid shaped, than something that is like barrel shaped, because this way it looks quite ugly. So to have a pyramidal shape, you have to go as low as possible on your with your camera. So this way it goes like this. Okay. Tip number 3. Many people spend hours checking others' pictures and photography, and actually you realize that what they see is maybe nice. Sometimes there are good pictures, bad pictures, experts pictures, beginner pictures, everything. But I think you should check also painters, classical painters like the Flemish painters like Rembrandt, or these like 1600 pictures. So why paintings? Why? because actually you realize that they really painted as it really looked. When you look this clear obscure, they actually do is you see the way the light is shaping bodies, is shaping objects, and I think you can learn a lot from them. Very often I used to remove here a small shadow made by the lip, and I was with the Photoshop I was fixing a picture. I used to remove this, and then I saw some classical painting and I saw it was there. So I said, whoa, why should I remove this? Because reality is that this shadow is here. So the thing is, why do I know it's like reality? Because I was not there when they were painting these drawings. Okay, obviously they were there, and it's reality, because if you check your picture before editing it, you will see that these shadows are there. So try to learn from them. So you will learn a lot about lighting, a lot about the way of composition also, but really you will learn a lot about lighting if you check these classical painters. Tip number 4. Tip number 4 is you are really happy because you just got a new camera or new gear, right? Okay, so now you're making picture with this new camera, and one thing you just forgot is to read the manual. Many people do not read the manual, and what's important is that when you're going to use the user manual is that you have the camera in your hand and you read and you check this button. It says button 1 is this, button 1 is there, button 2 is this, button 2 is there. And if they say, if you do this in this menu, you will get this effect. If you do this in that menu, it will measure this way. So you get your camera, you read the manual, and at the same time you check that what everything it says in the manual, you can do it on your camera. Because you have to learn to know your camera by heart. I mean, you mustn't be thinking all the time how to configure your camera. Okay, so you have to read the manual and learn how to configure what the manual says in your camera. Very often the manual now, they get 3-4 pages only, because it's like a small manual. But on the CD that comes with your camera, on the website of the maker, you can actually download a PDF file. I advise you download this PDF file to your mobile telephone, so at any time you can actually check the manual. If you have a doubt and you're making pictures somewhere and you need to configure something, you can check the manual. And also, if you have a printed version for home, it's always easier to use and check the paper, write down some notes on it. So I advise you print a version of this PDF file, okay? So don't forget, read the manual with your camera in your hand. Tip number 5. All cameras that I use without a strap have the same future, the floor. They all end up breaking. So it's very important then that you use a camera strap. Very often I see people walking around with a camera in their hand, no strap, nothing, and one day it goes to the floor, it's broken. I don't know any photographer that do not use strap that has a camera forever. They always end up on the floor. So I know there are other things, not just typical neck strap, but also strap for your hand. You just pass your hand there. I don't like them. You can use them, but I do not like them. There are also some strap like I can't remember the name, but it's like a screw under the camera, and then you have it hanging on the side. I don't like this either, because you move like this and you can actually bang the camera. But also, if you really like this way of carrying your camera on the side, make sure you buy a good strap, because I've seen some really cheap version of the it was Quick Rapid or something like this, one of the famous maker of this side strap. Okay, I saw a cheap version and the screw just broke, and the camera went to the floor and was broken. Okay, so if you're going to use this different way of carrying your camera, instead of using a neck strap, use this side strap. Make sure they are very top quality. Also, very often I see people carrying their camera with a neck strap but on the shoulder. They always end up going to the side and falling on the floor. So if you have a neck strap, put it around your neck. This is why they call it neck strap, okay? And if you use anything else, make sure it's solid. And also, if you use a strap, whether a neck strap or not, make sure it's solid, it's not worn out, it's not about to cut, okay? So, because sometimes people have a neck strap, it's really like rubbish. I mean, it's almost broken, and it ends up cutting, and it goes to the floor also. So make sure you have this safety. This is your top insurance, a neck strap. Well, thank you for watching this video. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel, youtube.com/ericgibaud, my website, ericgibaud.com. If you have any question, you can send me an email to info@ericgibaud.com. My Facebook, facebook.com/ericgibaud photo, my Instagram, ericgibaud, my Twitter, ericgibaud, my Google++ ericgibaud. Thank you to Claudia, who is behind the camera, waving at us. And Happy New Year again, Happy New Year 2017. And here we go. Goodbye and see you very soon. Thank you.